Welcome to your jump and float forward how to practice along video. For this video, you'll need some wall space and a set of blocks. Let's get started. We'll start out at the wall with what we call a negative or a slow lower, and we'll be building the float forward from the ground up. For some of you that have flexibility that might be inhibiting your jump forward with straight legs, we're going to start with bent legs. And for others that are still working on kind of finding that float, bent leg is definitely an easier transition in. So you'll join us here. Let's start facing the wall. Well, basically you can tuck up, just come up into a handstand at the wall here. Now, frog is when we widen the knees as we bend the knees, so think of like your yogi squat, and it's going to be the most accessible way to slow things down. So notice his pelvis is in an anterior position. From here, he's going to tuck his pelvis under and slowly resist coming down. Slow, 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 slow. Good. So we'll just keep doing that several times and we'll build on from here. So think of compressing, thighs to belly, slow it down. Good, so what's happening as he slows it down, he's really pushing the floor away, elevating those shoulders, compressing, and even a slight lean forward for some of you. So he continues to bring the thighs to the chest, slows it down. Notice as he gets down, he starts to straighten his legs a little bit more. Let's take one more here. So finding your way at the wall, widen your knees apart, tilt that pelvis under, slow, 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 resist. Good. And you'll see that through that resistance of that slow lowering is where you see start to feel a kind of hover. Let's show a little bit what might be happening at first. At first, maybe you're not finding any float at all, and you might even find a bit of a thump down. That's okay. Just moving through this transition of going anterior to posterior, you might just come right down. That's fine. You'll start to slow that down over time. Using mantras and stuff, like that's what I tell myself when I'm on my way down. You know, I'll tell myself slow, slow, slow. It really works. Okay, next up we're going to do this in tuck. So find your way up to the wall. You could tuck up into handstand there at the wall. Great. So he finds his way, and it's basically the same thing, right? So he tucks into a tiny little ball. Notice that anterior tilt. He's going to flip over into that posterior tilt, and then resist, and he lands his feet, landing in that ball. Let's go ahead and do that again. This time for me, Gabo, as you land, come into as though you were going kind of like a slightly bent forward fold. So tuck, 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 and then places the feet down. Exactly. Let's do that one or two more times. Those of you practicing at home, taking your time, tilting that pelvis under, thighs come in towards the belly. Resist, 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 and then land those feet as softly as you can. Let's do one more. I think Gabo could do this all day long, so. Thighs to belly, push the floor away, resist, resist. Excellent. We'll transition into practicing some drills together. Feel free to stay at the wall or move your mat away. So we'll take what Gabo was doing at the wall away from the wall. Of course, you use that wall if you need to. We'll start in downward facing dog. If you like, I like to walk my feet in a little bit, shrug your shoulders up to your ears, push off. We'll take that frog hop, slow lower. As you're ready, shoot your knees wide, resist. We'll do that again. Play as many times as you can, take at least a few rounds. Work on slowing down. Last one here. Just try to slow it down. Okay, let's take this now in the tuck jump as well. So we'll just do a couple rounds, 2 to 3 rounds. Practice with this at home. Remember, each time you're building strength, even if you're not slowing it down yet. We'll jump forward, thighs to chest. Push, land. Okay, let's move on with some drills. Let's take our blocks. We'll set them up on the mat together at the lower setting. And you'll stand on your blocks, toe mounds to the mid part of the block, or else the block will slip as you move. Place your hands down. Now, this is a deeper forward fold because your feet are elevated, so some of you will need to bend your knees. And let's actually just take a round or two here with bent knees to show you what that would look like. So you'll plant your hands, come onto your toe mounts, keep your knees bent, and you have to really lean forward. Your shoulders will pass your wrists here. So this is why it's very similar to your press. Try to float your feet down. Even if you lift one and then the other. So we'll do that a few rounds here. Place your hands. If you can straighten your legs, you'll straighten your legs. Lean. Float your feet off. Try to get them to clear the blocks. Let's take one more. Good. Okay. So next we'll just work on this lean a little bit more without the blocks, and we'll introduce toe taps here. So plant your hands down, shrug your shoulders up to your ears, hollow out your belly. Come onto your tippy toes. Use those spider fingers, lean forward, hold, push the floor away. Now take your right toes, tap your right wrist or forearm, and then your left. And we'll switch, right? And then left, and then right, and then left. Let's take a quick break. So now we'll try to find some air with those toe taps. What's nice about the toe tap is it kind of helps put a brake on for you. As the toes hit the wrist or the forearms, it'll kind of help you slow things down. And it's that same floating sensation we're trying to find here. So take your forward fold. Come onto your tippy toes. Push the floor away, lean forward, feet will separate, flex your feet. Find that toe tap, set your feet back down. Let's do that again. Push, lean, flex, and set your feet down. Good, come on up. Take a real quick break, and then we'll do our press walks. We'll take our press walks now. Remember, you can bend your knees if the flexibility is holding you back. We're really just after that floating sensation here. So we're going to travel on our mat. You'll come up onto your tippy toes. Push the floor away, lean forward, find a float, place your feet in between your hands, and we'll continue on. Palms down, come up. Now we'll make our way back as well. So you'll lift up onto those tippy toes, lean forward, push up, maybe more of a hop back, float back, push. And we'll come up, we'll take a quick rest. I want to go over the breath a little bit as you rest. Love to hear from Gabo too, but I really I take an inhale, and I'm either using my exhale or at the very bottom of my exhale, I'm taking my float. So it's really a bit of breath retention that we'll talk about elsewhere in the training if you haven't already had that. So it's really using that Uddiyana Bandha to help lift from the very inside. That's also helping you find that float. Do you also do that on your exhales? Yeah. So just think about that. Let's take one more round. I want you to think of your breath this time as we take our press walks. So deep inhale in. You can exhale it out. Keep it going. And when you're ready, you'll go back. All right, we'll set up for our next exercise. So we're going to attempt our float forward with straight legs. Remember, if you need to bend your knees, you need to bend your knees right now and just enjoy the float and building the strength. So Gabo will demo here. So he starts in his downward facing dog. Shoulders are in elevation. As he's ready, comes onto his tippy toes, bends and floats. He's resisting that floor. Beautiful, and lightly landing his feet. If you don't mind taking that one more time. One thing I just want you to notice here before you even go is how low he stays. He's not spending all of his energy lifting up into a handstand or something and then trying to come back down. He's just lifting his hips, resisting the floor, and floating the feet forward. Beautiful. Awesome. So let's take a couple rounds together. We'll practice at home. We'll start in your downward facing dog. As you're ready, all right, we'll show you a few spotting techniques. We'll demo the spot now for you practicing at home or for those of you that are teaching. Gabo will take downward facing dog. You'll place one foot in between your student's hand, one foot to the outside. Again, we're touching bones, so you want to get in there and find the frontal hip points. And he's going to do the tuck to show for those of you doing your tuck. So he bends his knees, thighs to chest, and I'm here helping him resist. I'm keeping his hips up basically so he can land those feet. Let's do that one more time. Good. He bends his knees, holding his hips up, helping him resist. He lands his feet. So if anything, you're giving your student or you yourself are feeling how much those hips need to be kind of distended in air, and then it's the feet that are floating down. So the more you can keep that shape upside down, the closer you're going to get to this float. Let's see it with straight legs now with the spot. We'll do it 2 times. Foot here, foot here. He pushes off, straightens his legs, flexes his feet, and lands. Good. We'll do that one more time. Bends his knees. I'm taking his hips straight up, and I'm holding them there as he places his feet. It really helps proprioceptively for you and your student to feel just how far forward you need to shift your weight and just where those hips are in space. We'll see you in the next video.